The United Nations says more than 1 million refugees have fled Ukraine since the start of the Russian invasion, and many more are still searching for ways to leave their home country. And for those who have managed to flee, the journey can be harrowing. Our next guest is a local professor who just yesterday returned from Russia. Joining us now to talk about her experience and more is Olga Kamenchuk, an associate research professor in the Institute for Policy Research at Northwestern University. She's also a co-principal investigator on the Comparative National Elections Project for Russian, Ukrainian, and Serbian electoral studies. Olga, thank you so much for joining us. You were recently in Russia. How would you describe the atmosphere there right now?
Well, it's quite hectic for many reasons. On the one hand, there is quite a significant amount of Russians who are in shock about what has happened. I have seen people crying in the streets. I've seen people protesting. I also have seen people storming ATMs and banks to get their money, to try to exchange rubles into dollars or into euros, because as you might know, that ruble fell significantly following the sanctions. So the circumstances, the situation there is, very tense, to say the least. But at the same time, I have to admit that even though I see people protesting, still the majority of Russians are supporting this war. Depending on the poll, 57 to 65% support it, and the rest are opposing it. I have to emphasize that this is not the so-called Crimean consensus we saw 8 years ago following the annexation of Crimea. That time, over 90% of Russians supported the annexation of Crimea. Right now, about 2/3. It's still the majority, but it's not as firm of a majority than was previously 8 years ago. There is quite significant amount of Russians who are in shock. And that's what I have been seeing there. I've seen mass protests. I've seen.
And you attended some protests, and you've had some friends who were arrested and beaten at those protests. What was that experience like?
This is insane. Youth, intellectuals are the ones who mostly attend these protests, and that's the reason why, for example, local authorities are specifically trying to monitor behavior of youth and students. For example, students have received warnings from their departments that every cohort, every group of the student will be monitored and their activities on social media. Even if they dare to mention the word Ukraine on social media, they would be expelled right away. But yes, I have seen loads of police and special forces in metro and in the streets of the city. It feels very weird, so much military in the city. And besides just, humans, right? There's also special cars where they would put those protesters. Some of my friends were beaten up, and including the ones which weren't even protesting, but they're just passing by the protest. They arrest everybody without even making any sense sometimes. One friend of mine was beaten unconscious, and even police refused to call ambulance for him. So this is really harsh. And now they're also introducing very strict, severe laws. For example, if you are consulting the side which is helping Ukraine, if you're providing expertise and so on, your activity might be recognized as treason with 20 years in jail. And if you are spreading fakes, that is, if you're actually telling the truth about what is happening in Ukraine, but they call it fakes about the activities of Russian forces in Ukraine, like shelling, for example, right? And looting, you will get 15 years in jail.
So how are different generations of people receiving their information? Because we've read reports, older people relying on television might be exposed to more propaganda versus younger people who are using more social media. So how are people getting their information, and what do they know?
That's true. Older generations mostly are relying on TV, and most of TV is under control. There used to be some free TV stations, relatively, available, because sometimes you'd still have to use VPNs or stuff like that to access them. For example, Current Times, you could access with use of VPN, or TV Rain. But usually you would have to be really motivated to do so. Most people really are not. not. That's what we call psychological firewall, when they decide not to get this information. But in general, older generation would limit themselves to the state-owned, controlled propaganda TV. Let's be straight about that. And then younger generations are different because they are much more technologically savvy. So they are using social media much more often.
And
they know how to use circumvention, tools like VPNs to access some of this information. But social media is actually also being slowed down artificially by the government, such as Facebook and Twitter, that are spreading.
Olga, before we run out of time, because we know that Russia is admitting that around 500 of its soldiers have been killed in the invasion. Ukraine says the real number is in the thousands. What impact is that going to have on public opinion in Russia? We've got about 30 seconds, unfortunately.
They're trying to hide information about the losses, but there is already some senators, like Senator Narusova, which is bringing this up, and she's trying to cover this information, and she's voicing the concerns about that. However, again, the state TV doesn't report it. People don't know about what is happening. Even the word war is prohibited on Russian TV, and most independent networks are being shut down today and yesterday.
Okay. Olga Kamenchuk, we thank you for joining us. Glad you made it out of Russia safely, and hopefully we can talk to you again soon.
Thank you.